Hello, and thanks for joining us on the podcast that discusses all things gaming. Coming to you from the home of Gen Con and the gaming capital of the world, this is The Established Facts. One, two, all right. So, this is your host, Big Don.
And this is Josh.
And we are just coming from day one for a really cool class that Joshy and I signed up for with the one and only Peter Spellos, who, that's right, who is, for those of you who don't know, an actor, voice actor. He was one of the guests of honors at this year.
Those plurals.
Right, this year's Indie PopCon, and has been announced to be the guest of honor and MC, I believe, for Indie PopCon 2016, which is really exciting. But he put a Facebook thing out recently about how he was going to start doing classes for improvisation and acting and just doing a lot of really cool educational things through Indie PopCon as an outlet, getting a lot of that social media networking out there for him to really teach his craft to a new generation of enthusiastic people who want to get into acting or want to do improv or really just want to have a good time with it. So Josh and I are going to do a day one review, and tomorrow we plan on doing a day two review with several of the other students and Peter Spellos himself at the Willard in Franklin, Indiana. We've had tons of fun. I've had tons of fun. I know Josh has had tons of fun. So in general, we're going to break this down very similar to the comparison of our con reviews, but obviously it's going to be a little bit different because this isn't a convention, it's a class, and it's a little bit different environment. We've got 13 students in the class, Peter obviously teaching. We've got one parent who is there with her student, who I believe her student's name is Christine.
It's either Christine
or Christina. Her mom's name is Amy, I believe.
She brought Long's Donuts.
That's all that matters,
right.
Really. I mean, way to a fat man's heart is through his stomach. So, Long's Donuts and banana bread it was.
Yes, from Chris.
From Chris. I believe the banana bread was from...
The banana bread was Chris.
Was it Chris?
I believe so.
Okay.
She's the one that made two of them so that Peter got one.
Okay. I know that we have a student who has a service dog with her named Logan. Beautiful husky, and I have never met a dog in my life that is as mild-tempered as this dog is. He has really just been super chill the entire time we've all been hanging out. He's around new people he doesn't know. He hasn't been super excitable or anything like that.
I'm pretty sure he was less nervous than the rest of us.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was too. I think the only time I ever heard him bark was when another dog, who happened to be a female dog, Logan has a thing for the blondes, I guess. A golden retriever came by and he kind of gave her a "hey, what's up" kind of thing. So that was fun. But I believe her name is...
Her name is Chris. That's the one who made the banana bread.
Oh, that's right.
Did you not put those pieces together?
I did. I'm slow. Anyway, so far, Joshy, day one, what has been your favorite part of the improv class?
Playing one word with Peter Spellos.
Playing one word with Peter Spellos is probably mine as well.
A description, one word, is an improv game where you literally tell a story or answer a question, as it may be, with... That's my phrase.
There you go.
where each person, the partner and the two improvers, they bounce one word off of each other. Very similar to what you'll see in a Whose Line Is It Anyway or Comedy Sports act. And it's a lot more difficult than I expected it to be.
Yeah, it's a lot more difficult than I expected it to be as well, especially after we played 3 games, all improv games. We played a charades game, which was extremely hard because it wasn't a standard style charades game. All of the titles were a movie or a TV show. You couldn't use regular charades hand motions like how many words or how many syllables per that word.
I don't think it was as much that we couldn't. It was just he didn't want you worrying about those motions.
Right.
As much as it was worrying about trying to non-verbally express.
Communicate what the title was. Yeah. That was a lot of fun, but it was very difficult. Then we did the firing squad, where we had 6-to-1 players, so you have one person out in the middle of the room and 6 people in front of them in a line, and it is a word association game. So you have one person in the line saying a word, the person out in the middle responding to that word, and then down the line, and then it snakes back around to the first person that went again, back, and just continues to go until whoever is basically running the game stops. And it's to help with really kind of breaking out of that shell of thinking and being more improvisational.
Get the crap out of your head.
That's right. That's basically what Peter said, was get the crap out of your head. So that was a lot of fun, but again, not nearly as easy as it might seem, kind of just thinking about like the concept of the game. It's a lot harder because you obviously don't know. You have to respond to the person who was saying the word to you, and typically the person who was saying the word to you, the next person said a completely different word, so it wasn't like you could link one thought with another necessarily. So that was fun.
What type of... I know I had difficulties with that one. I paused after every word trying to find one that matched. Did you run into any difficulties with that game?
I think my biggest difficulty was probably repeating myself a few times. Like, there were a couple people who would say, like, stinky or brown or something, and I said poop 3 times. So that was probably my biggest difficulty.
Right.
Getting myself out of my own head and just responding.
That word also helped you. You know, Peter made a specific point with you. One of the other players could not come up with something, and she said, well, the other word for poo.
Right. She used an expletive.
She said it so quickly and off the cuff that Don just very quickly responded with poo.
Yeah. And we kept going. And Peter definitely said something about that.
That was
and
the key.
Obviously that's the key to that kind of a game, is just call and response and call and response and call and response. It was a lot of fun. But I would agree with you that my favorite game, and maybe it was because we got a chance to play with Peter, was to play one word with Peter Spellos. He actually called me up first, which was really cool, because I believe he called you up as one of the first persons on the charades game.
Yeah, I went up like second because people weren't volunteering, and that's me.
Right. So he called me up, and to me, what was probably the most endearing part of my first day was sitting there and talking to him very briefly before we started the game, and he said, "You know who you remind me of?" And I said, "Who?" And he said, "You remind me of me." And I was like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Because we had such a good time for 4 hours with a man that any of us hardly knew outside of just having a knowledge base of who he was and his connection to Indie PopCon. And by the end of it, it was like we were really hanging out with a friend and a mentor who was teaching us his trade, you know? And so it was a lot of fun. My favorite story of my turn was the circus story, because Peter and I went on this strange adventure with elephants.
It started with elephants, and
then the clowns ate seals with chopsticks, which was really kind of interesting.
Toothpicks.
No, did I say toothpicks?
You said toothpicks.
Oh, okay. I thought it said chopsticks. Right on. Well, there you go. That kind of shows you the environment that you're in.
Well, and I get to kind of add on to that because Peter and I told a story. Somebody mentioned British television, and he loves British television.
That's right.
And pretty much the whole statement was that British people are great, and their opinions are correct.
Yeah.
And that was it.
That was it. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Very.
For those of you who don't know, Peter Spellos just did a convention.
Auto Assembly.
That's right. Auto Assembly out in London, I believe. In the UK. And he is he's a huge fan of the UK and all those crazy Brits. It loves it. And, obviously, Josh and I, being British TV fans as well, love it and love the humor. And so that was really fun. But, just like we normally do, what would you do different for your day one?
I think I would prefer it be a little longer.
Yeah.
I understand the 5-hour thing puts us between lunch and dinner, so I don't have to necessarily worry about those type of things, but I kind of feel like it would be nice to be like, morning we get together, do breakfast, we do lunch, and then go through and do an afternoon session, then break for dinner. That's just me, because I really felt like we were kind of getting and moving. I felt like I was getting into it. Others probably weren't.
Yeah.
But I was getting into it by about 5 o'clock.
Well, yeah, you start to kind of... those improvisational juices start to flow. And I did notice there was a little bit of a drop of energy near the end of the class. I honestly think that a lot of it just had to do with the fact that the only thing that we had really had there for nourishment was...
Long's Donuts, bread.
Which, don't get me wrong, Long's Donuts are made by angels.
Ding!
However, a little protein does not hurt.
Real energy is supposed to... Woo!
Yeah, exactly. So I would say for myself, probably... Self? Something that I would probably change, especially in hindsight, is really... kind of the message of what improvisational acting is, and getting out of my own head, not thinking too much. Obviously, you have to think a little bit. You have to prepare yourself to respond in a lot of ways, but you also need to be open to suggestion based on, and this is something that Peter has really tried to push, based on what your partner is doing, because it's a team sport. Improvisation is a team sport, and you get an opportunity to affect each other's environment based on what you say. One word was definitely an activity that played on that, because your partner would say one word and you would say another word in response, but it had to make sense and it had to go somewhere, versus firing line where you're literally just saying word association stuff. And I'm really excited about what's coming on day 2. I'm really excited about the different games we're going to play, getting more into this technique and beast of improvisational work. And I know that Peter has put a ton of work behind doing a lot of this stuff. He even said in the beginning of class, we sat down for about an hour, and he gave a really awesome introduction to who he was, the experience that he had. But then, honestly, this might have been my second favorite part. We went around and were introduced to everyone who was in the class, talked about some of our fears, talked about why we wanted to do this improvisational class. And it was really neat to see 13 people who had never met each other, minus obviously Josh and I know each other, but 12 brand new people learning about each other in 5 minutes time each person, really.
Yeah.
Breaking down a lot of walls. There were a lot of, actually seeing people who were excited about being there immediately be confronted with having to be vulnerable. Because one thing that Peter pushed as an actor in improvisation and in all kinds of acting is if you don't feel it, then you don't live it. If you feel it, no matter where it comes from, if that's the feeling that you're having, then obviously people are going to feel that with you. And that's what makes that connection between the player and the audience. And so there were times when we were the players and we were the audience, and that was a lot of fun. So for day 2, Joshy, what are you expecting now that you've kind of gone through day 1? Our expectations have at least been, or our eyes have been open to kind of what to expect in a way, but what are you looking forward to? What are you expecting for day 2?
More games.
More games.
So much more games. Like, I know that Peter is going to probably give us some more lecture time and give us some more information, and I'm excited to hear that too. But playing the games and watching the games be played, we're gamers. That's what we do. And you know, as I told him, I said a big reason why I wanted to do this class was to become a better gamer. So I'm really excited about playing these games and excited to play with Peter and the other people in the group. It was pretty entertaining to see some of them break out of the shell as the day went on.
Oh, yeah. Well, and there's all those fun inside jokes now that we all have together as a group, you know. Christine with her crossed arms and you know, her walls up. Just kind of funny. Because every time she does it, Peter hollers at her for it. I would say that I have a very similar sentiment to playing more games. Not just because we're gamers, but the games are really a lesson. It's almost Mr. Miyagi-esque.
Yeah.
It's very much a lesson through interaction versus sitting in a lecture or reading a book. You are forced to immediately have to work at what he's teaching you. And he's really awesome about making sure that the focus is there and making sure that the environment is right for inspiration, and to the point where there were a few times when, and I really respect Peter for doing this, as an instructor, he really had to step up and say, hey, you know, keep the side chatter to a null because it distracts from the player, and if the player's distracted, then the audience is distracted, because where improvisation, where a regular play or something like that is scripted to, you know, pretty much 99 to 100%, and you have an expectation to play the character in front of you on the script, improv is definitely not that.
Right.
And in order for you to be able to respond to your partner, you have to be focused on them, but if you or they are not focused on whatever is at hand, then it can definitely negatively affect the scene. So I agree. I'm super excited about playing new games, learning new things about improv. I think that if I could apply this to anything right now, something that I'm definitely going to apply it to is GMing.
Yeah.
Because a lot of GMing is improvisation with your players. And I think it's definitely going to be fun. If it doesn't go anywhere outside of just, you know, our little world of gaming, if we don't ever really take the improv to like an improv stage, it's definitely techniques that are a lot of fun and are growing a knowledge base of interaction for ourselves and other people around us.
Well, and we've also found out, we've been given some ideas for podcasts while we've been there. And I think that's definitely something we're going to ask everybody else. You know, what ideas are you going to take away from this? For us, you know, Peter flat out told us we're both dads. Yeah. He wants to know, you know, how being a dad has affected your gaming.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can see 3 podcasts about that alone.
Yeah.
So, I know we're definitely going to explore that. We've got dads on our podcast. We got parents, moms on our podcasts, and I'm sure they're affected by it as well. So the idea of opening up your mind and, as he kept saying, being free.
Yeah.
Removing the judgment. And when he says removing the judgment, most of it is judgment on yourself.
Right.
Because when
I noticed that a lot with myself and with the other people. Like, you want to be right, or you want to say the right thing, or you want to associate this word correctly with another word, but really, it's not about that. It's about just doing the thing. He kept saying, you know, stop trying and just do it.
Yeah. And that was that level of freedom that I think I know we're going to take from it, and I hope to find out from the other players, the other students, whatever, that they're going to take away something similar.
Yeah.
Some of them would uncross, some of them would speak up, some of them would laugh while they're doing it, but in the end, everyone was playing and showing the freedom that we were being granted through improv.
Yeah. This definitely, in my opinion, this definitely plays to my personal opinion of everyone being a gamer. You just have to find the right game.
That's right.
It plays right to this.
Yep.
So I'm really excited. My expectations, I didn't even know what to expect, and now I'm just expecting hilarity and greatness for tomorrow, the next class, and so it's going to be a lot of fun. So, we've told you guys about what we've enjoyed, some of the things that we'd like to do again, but are definitely looking forward to taking that opportunity tomorrow for our Class 2, what we're expecting for our Day 2 in class with Peter. We're really excited about being able to sit down with Peter tomorrow evening. I believe we're going to try and sit down with him at the Willard and do some podcasting with him, so definitely look forward to that hitting the air, if you will. And yeah, really just excited about tomorrow. Really just excited about Day 2. I had a lot of fun today. I think Joshy did too, and met a lot of really neat people. Definitely look forward to when this episode drops, because we're going to have a ton of people that we're going to be linking to the website, to the episode, that have a lot of really cool stuff coming out on their YouTube pages and on their Facebook pages and podcast-wise and things like that. Hopefully,
Mobile Cyclist on YouTube.
That's right.
I remember that one.
Mobile Cyclist on YouTube. What was his name? I forget
his name, but I remember his YouTube channel.
That's right. Well, he'll be on tomorrow. We'll get him on the mics. So, yes, definitely look for that kind of stuff from us, and I think that's it. I think we're done for Day 1. Peter Spellos
Improv.
Yeah, baby. All right, we'll see you guys later. You don't have to lean too close to it. It doesn't matter. It picks up really well.
Yeah, you know me with the voice.
Yeah. So, Peter, Josh and I, and several of our new friends here got a chance to hang out with you for the last 2 days.
And I got to hang out with you guys.
And I think I can speak for at least Josh and myself, if not everybody. It was such an honor, and we had such a good time just playing games and hanging out and becoming friends. In my opinion, that's really what happened this weekend, is we all got a chance to really become friends.
We bonded.
Yeah.
Theater has a way of... Theater is a community.
Yeah.
And I think its most salient quality is it brings people together of different backgrounds, yet a common cause. They want to play and create together.
I agree.
I don't mean to tell you how to do your job. Are you going to tell these guys who this guy is?
I was actually getting ready to.
Oh, good.
Thank you for telling me how to do my job. So, for any of our listeners, Peter, that don't really know everything you've been in, or at least kind of what you've been in recently, where can they find you and how can they find out about you?
Well, my name is Peter Spellos. I've been an actor for 40 years. You can look up Spellos on IMDb. You can see what I've done. I've been blessed enough to do over 100 TV episodes and films combined, 40 different anime series. People know me from the movies, from Men in Black 2, Heartbreakers, City of Angels. They know me from television, from a series in early 2000 called American Dreams that was on NBC. And they also know that I was the voice of Skybite in Transformers Robots in Disguise. I was Merimon and Waymon and Grizzlymon on Digimon. I am Gilliam, the ship's computer, on Outlaw Star.
Just everything.
Just all over the place.
And what do you like most about doing what you do?
I get to be 16 at 61. I get to play. It gives me a freedom. It basically, my friend, is not what I do, but it's who I am.
Yeah.
And what you saw this weekend is who I am.
Yeah.
Is a man who's joyous about performing and creating and wants to play with abandon. And I think hopefully that's what we accomplished with this improv workshop this weekend. I kind of gave you a little clue on what you need to know to get up on stage and create something from nothing. I think that's what art is.
I agree. I totally agree. I think that's definitely something, we've been recording and producing podcasts for just over 4 years, and that's definitely something that we're familiar with, and sometimes we sit down and we don't necessarily know what direction we're going to go in, and we usually sit down with about somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 to 8 other people, and you can never account for what somebody's going to say or what somebody's going to think about any particular subject that we might talk about. And I told Josh yesterday when we were kind of going over some of our loves about the first day of class that what I really appreciate the most about really the skills that we got a chance to learn yesterday and really work on today is, as a gamer and as a storyteller and especially like as a dad being able to sit down with my kids and stuff, being able to go through an improv class, it really, more than anything, it teaches you how to open your mind to that freedom and that possibility. And I think that was a message that you had all weekend, was not being worried about fear, not being worried about judgment, being free with your thought and not making it overcomplicated, not playing to your strengths and your weaknesses.
Well, playing to your strengths and accepting your weaknesses and learning how to overcome them.
Yeah.
You want to find out where you're stuck. And you want to lose it. You know what you're good at. It's like football. When you have a game, they never bring you in the locker room and show you the plays you did well. They bring you in the locker room and show you the plays that didn't work. Because they want you to learn from it. I wanted you guys to learn from where you're stuck. It's not like I know a lot of stuff, it's like I want to show, I want to put a mirror up in front of you and show you where you get hung up. And my job is to nurture this and give it to you a supportive environment where you can grow from it and release it.
One thing you said yesterday, which I thought was really cool, and it reminded me of a quote that I've heard from Michelangelo. You were talking about the art and kind of seeing who you are in the art piece, and it reminded me of a quote that I've heard from, I believe it was Michelangelo, when he talked about sculpting, and he says, the statue is inside this block, and all I do is chip away the rest of the rock. And I feel like that's really what we kind of learned this weekend, is chipping that away.
And realizing that first of all, that the entire rock is beautiful.
Yeah.
And then what you want to carve is your own choice.
Yeah.
And getting the stuff out of the way that is not serving you.
Yeah.
And I think as artists, you have to be able to transform. And you can't do this and not be transformed. And I think it was that sort of experience for most everybody in here.
Well, when we on the Established Facts do an after the fact or something like that, which is kind of like a wrap up from a con or an event or something that we get a chance to do, we ask 3 questions of ourselves. What did we like the most? What did we like the least? And what can we expect to want to experience or change for the next time? So I'm going to ask you those questions, and we'll probably ask everybody else a little bit later and get everybody else.
Right.
But I want you to have an opportunity to relax and hang out with everybody. So Peter, what did you like the most about this class and opportunity?
That's a 2-part question. What I like the most about the opportunity is I get to share what I love with everybody. What I truly liked the most was meeting 13 new people who are these incredible creative souls who probably don't think they're as amazing as they really are. So I got to meet 13 new friends who I now will have for the rest of my life.
So, what did you like the least?
That there was so much I wanted to accomplish, and I only had 10 hours to accomplish it. I wanted to give you as much an overview and experience as I could in the time. And I think what I liked the least is we ran out of time so quickly. We just all didn't know each other 36 hours ago. And here we are now, and it's over. I'm on a plane Tuesday morning back to New York. And it all happens too quickly, which is why it's important to stay present to everything, because I don't want to miss a drop. I like mopping up every little bit of gravy in the stew there, because I want to taste it all.
Food analogies are my thing. I understand.
Yeah. You and me both, Big Don.
I'm just saying. So, finally, I know that you've got plans to do a lot of really cool stuff with the PopCon guys. I'm really excited about it. I know Josh is really excited about it as well. I can tell that you're really excited about it. But for the next time that we get together, regardless how it is,
right,
what are you looking forward to in that experience?
I'm looking forward to watching how you guys bonded in the time that you're away from each other, and that you're going to bring this community together all of a sudden, that you'll all be back. It'll be like the second year of camp, where everybody kind of comes back and knows everybody now. Now that we got all the, first hugs and kisses out of the way, now we all play together. Now it's going to be easier to create because you know where I'm coming from. You sort of know what to expect at this point. And you also know what you want to push in yourselves. So it's my job to continue to find that moment and to give you what you need.
So I have a question for you. We are a gaming podcast. You're aware of that. I'm even hoping that the next time we get together to sit down and play Fiasco, which is a favorite amongst our fans. So you've given us lots of bits of wisdom throughout the weekend. And what I'd like to ask for our gamers, and we talk about any and all things gaming, and I know that video gaming may be one of those things that people don't think they can kind of get into, like a situation. What bit of wisdom would you give to somebody playing a character, whether it be in-game or not? But you're an actor, so you have to have these little bits. I know our gamers would like to know, what bit of wisdom would you give them in their gaming?
A couple things. Agree to every concept that's offered to you. Don't negate. Don't try and impose your own will or agenda. And if you think the best idea you're going to have comes from your partner, and your partner's thinking the best idea is going to come from you, the scene will have immediate integrity to it because you're working towards a common goal. The other thing for gamers, and when you're creating this game, which to me, and thank you for the books, by the way, know three things in each scene. Who are you, where are you, why are you there? And I'm talking about the character, I'm not talking about the person. Understand who the character is, what the relationship is, and what they want from each other. We talked a little bit about theater sports, about their CROW acronym, CROW, character, relationship, objective, and where. If you kind of know those things, you can create something from nothing really easily.
Well, I know for myself, for Josh, and for any of our listeners who've gotten a chance to hear kind of our time together now, there's a lot of really cool, exciting things in the works with you, with PopCon, with Indiana, Indianapolis, really making this relationship something more than just casual.
It's not casual. I don't have casual relationships.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I don't either.
I don't have time anymore for casual, and I used to. I don't spend a lot of time with acquaintances. I want to hang out with my friends.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of people that I call friend, and hopefully that's reciprocated. And if it's not, there's a lot of people out there in the world that I still want to experience and be able to come to Indiana, meet you guys, meet all these great people, and hang out after show and see the buzz of all you guys is what I'm trying to do. You inspire me, so I want to continue to be inspired by you.
So what can we look forward to in your soon future?
What
can we look forward to from you in your soon future? Different classes? I know we talked about a couple up-and-coming events and things like that.
It'll be more improv, it'll be more acting classes, it'll be more creativity. I really can't talk about that much now, but by the next podcast I'll be able to say something.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I just want to let you know that Josh and I...
The best phrase of that was?
What?
The next podcast.
That's right. I want to let you know that Josh and I had an amazing time.
Thanks,
we had
guys.
So much fun with you, and we cannot wait to see you again.
Thank you, man. And all the listeners out there, remember one thing. Don't ever take no for an answer.
That's right. Well, that is Peter Spellos. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we love you, and we will see you again soon. Bye.
Take care, man.
Please visit us at www.theestablishedfacts.com and our Facebook page, facebook.com/theestablishedfacts. If you would like to support us by buying some merchandise, visit catholicpress.com/castingrobot.